On. All right, so you guys should be able to hear me pretty good. I'm just gonna make sure the music is not too unbearable. How are you guys this morning? Welcome to the Rouser World live stream. My name is Harry. I'm glad to have you here today, and we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna spend just about 5 minutes of warm up time, right? And then so we're going to draw some shapes together. And then after that, we're going to be talking about three things. We're going to be talking about shapes, how to change shapes to features. Okay. We're going to be talking about suggesting shapes, okay, which is something that you really need to know as a caricature artist. And then we're also going to be talking about combining shapes, okay. And this is when you take shapes and you kind of put them together to do something. But we're going to be talking about that. After that, we're going to close out with our word of the day. And all of this shouldn't take but about an hour and 15 minutes, guys. So let's go ahead and dive in. And I again wanted to say welcome to everybody that's on the stream. Hello, Melissa. How are you today? Bad boy, what's going on? How are you today? Okay, so let's jump in. The first thing let's go ahead and do some warm-up shapes. So I'm going to start with something that somebody was kind of asking me to do in the last stream. I'll just warm up by drawing some hand shapes. And so generally when I draw hands, I like to use boxes or houses, whichever one. Sometimes if you're more politically correct, you might want to use this shape here, okay? And then what I do is I always try to find pointers or thumbs right first. So this is kind of where my thumb would be on my drawing, you know what I'm saying? And then over here would be where your fingers go. So what you want to do is you want to find your pointer finger, and you want to find your pointer finger, and you want to find your pinky finger on your drawing, okay? Once you find these particular fingers, then everything in the middle just kind of works out. You get what I'm saying? It's really simple. So if you're drawing a hand, let's say I want to go here and I want to give it a little bit more 3D. Let's say the hand is pointing. Let's say this is my pointer finger, right? If this is my pinky here, okay, well then it kind of makes sense where everything else goes like somewhere in between here. So you can get a real good feel for it. I just think of it like this. Okay, you see? And I'm just warming up. I haven't drawn anything yet this morning, so let's go ahead and pull up some hands. Actually, this way we can use some references here. Let's see if I got any hand references on here. I don't know. I might not have any. So this is what I'll do. I'm gonna go ahead over to my Pinterest, and I'll find some hands here so that we can work on those just for a few minutes. Okay, let's look up. I got hands right here. And let's see here. Here we go. We got some nice hands right here. Okay. So you can see kind of how they did these hands here. What we're going to do, you'll see here how they use the boxes, right? So we can use this one. Let's start with a really easy angle like this one, like that one. Okay. So you can see here that you can draw your hand like the little box, and you want to think of your box in a three-dimensional kind of a way, okay? Then once you put your box there, then you find your thumb. So right here, you can see my thumb shape is coming off of here like this. Okay, so I got a thumb here, right? And then over here, you can see I got one, two. I got a pointer finger here, right? And this is like like a little tube going into your box. And then you have your pinky finger, which would be somewhere back here, right? And then from here, you'll see you can kind of, what I like to do, especially if I'm drawing live, to keep it simple, I'll just draw sometimes 4 fingers like they do in the cartoons, right? Just combine these 2 fingers together. That's a good way to be able to do it. But you can see here that these are just like little, again, extensions of the hand. Okay, and the only way to really get good at this, guys, is just to kind of just keep doing it over and over and over again. That's just the nature of the beast of drawing hands. Okay, so we'll do one more, guys, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into our topic material here. We'll just do this little one over here just so I can get a little warmed up. Okay, and these, ooh, I made that a little bit too close. So I'll tell you what, we'll change it to something else. Let's find one we can do from that angle. Oh, this one looks like it might work. Let me see. If I put a side to it here, and then a bottom to it here. Okay, so there goes my box, right? My square box. And then over here, you'll see you have a bean shape like this. Boom, right? The main thing with drawing is you gotta trust your eyes. You know, you gotta trust your eyes, and you know, hey, you're not perfect, so get that idea out of your head. What we can do here, what I would do with these is I would start with the ends of the finger. That's the easier way to do it when you're having the finger in a bending position like this. So what you want to do is say, okay, this might be my pinky. This is that finger like in between here, and then there's another one, and then you can just kind of start posting them together from there. You get what I'm saying? So you can just kind of bend them around, right? And just practice, practice, practice. And after you draw one position and you get comfortable with that position, you can graduate to the other ones. You know, just find you some on pictures. That's how I learn. I just kind of look at them, and once you've learned how to draw on heads, you can draw pretty much anything. Cars, it doesn't matter. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead. Hey, what's going on? How are you today? Ninki, love your videos. Thanks for the live. Thank you so much. How are you, Ninki? Thank you so much today. And what's going on, Extreme Smoky Mountain Wrestling? How are you today? All right, so guys, we're going to go ahead and start with our first lesson here. And so that's going to be about, let me see what we got. Shapes to features, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about shapes to features, okay? When you draw caricature, let's go back to our gallery here, and I'm going to pull up my shapes here, okay? And when you start drawing caricatures, you're going to need to learn how to do this, okay? You're going to take regular basic shapes. So let's look at this shape here. We have a square here, right? And we have a circle, right? And then I have a triangle. Okay, I'm just going to use some basic ones, okay? So let's say I want to change this into a head shape, okay? I think I got my brightness up just a bit too much here, guys, so you can't really see my thing. So let me turn down the brightness on. Give me just a minute. Yeah, I think it's that brightness is way too high. Somewhere around there is good. So we'll apply that. Okay. All right. So let's go back. All right. So we're going to turn this into a head shape. So generally what we're going to do here is I just kind of shave off the edges. Okay. So that my head over here is going to look like this shape here. Okay. This is where creativity comes in. The creativity is not in trying to recreate the square. The creativity comes in how you translate that into a shape, okay? So let's say this is a head now, where I can take my features and I can now put them in. Let's say I want to use these same shapes or use a circle, and I want to use it as the ear, okay? Then I'm not going to obviously just draw a circle like this. Or what I'm going to do with this one, you really don't have to do much. You just kind of just round it off and put it in there, okay? And then up here, you can see that you can put hair, right? And you're basically just disguising the fact that you drew this shape. Does that make sense to you? Okay, I hope it does. I'm trying to speak it in a real simple language here. Now I'm going to try with our circle. Okay, so with the circle, let's say we want to again turn it into a head shape. We're going to do this with different features. Okay, so we got another head shape here that's round. So what we want to do is we want to figure out again where we want to place our features at. And let's say we want to put our head here. So and we're just going to stay with the same simple ear shapes. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and we can add hair or whatever we want to that shape. Okay. Remember, again, it's just a matter, all you're doing is disguising basic shapes. Okay. Think about caricatures or being shapes in disguise. Okay. So here we have a shape, the triangle shape. Okay. And so triangle shapes generally are going to promote like a feeling of direction, or feeling of like this shape points up, so it's going to be like an energizing shape. But let's go ahead and use this over here as a head shape. So let's say we want to do this. Well, maybe I can round this off up here, right? And maybe I can round it off right here and round it off right here. Well, it's still a recognizable triangle, but it's now a head shape that looks more like a feature than a shape. So you don't want to stay drawing shapes so you look like a robot. You get what I'm saying? So this is what I do when I draw this. Okay. And then here we can have a mouth or whatever. We can have a nose. We can have some eyes here. Whatever. We can have some eyebrows. All right. Whatever we want to do, we can make all of our caricatures very quickly by being able to translate them into shapes. Okay. So now let's take these same three shapes. We're going to use a square. Okay. And we're going to use our circle. We're going to use our rectangle, right? And I'll tell you what else we can use. We'll use maybe this shape here. This is called a pentagon shape. Okay. All right. Now, what makes shapes so much fun to use? Okay. Let's say we're again taking this and we want to translate this into maybe a body type. Okay. So up here, I can do a square head, right? Hey, what's going on, Gene? How are you today? How are you today? All right. Man, nice to have you out. Nice to have you out today. Thank you so much for coming. So here you can see I have my head. Okay. From my head, you can go here and we can take that same square, right? And we can make a torso, and we can just keep stacking these squares on top of each other, right? To make things. Okay. You understand? You can make a body like this, right? Because sometimes what the big thing is that you can't see the relationships between the features, so you don't know how to put them together. Okay, so now normally I wouldn't use squares here, but I would have used something like a triangle, which is really what I should have did here. I could take triangles like this, right triangles, and I can build a guy. Okay, you get what I'm saying? So let me build that guy a little bit bigger. I don't know. Can you guys see that guy pretty good right there? I know I made him kind of small, but let's go ahead and get him. So let me make him a little bit bigger. Let's make a circle head, right? And then let's make I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to make we're going to use this shape here as the torso. Okay, and then we're going to put a cylinder between these two shapes to connect them. So you can see here, you have an upper body. See, you see how this is like your shoulders and this is your head? Well, then now what can I do? I can take another shape. Let's take maybe a triangle, and I can go here and I can make a triangle, right? And then let's say I'm unsure about how to draw legs. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take this shape here. Let me show you. Let me see what shape. You see this shape right here? These are really good for drawing limbs, so parallelograms. So this is basically, a parallelogram is basically this shape right here. That's all it is. So all I'm going to do is take the shape, right? I'll come down, right? And down, and then I'm forming these parallelograms, right? With my pencil. And then I can use two of them, and I can taper them as I get down to the bottom of the picture. Okay? See how I'm tapering these shapes? And all of my lines are all going the same way at the end of the shape. So it leaves room for me to take this shape, right? Okay. Which is like a, this is a, what shape is that right there? It's a triangle, but I believe it's a right triangle. Yes, it's a right triangle right here. Okay, and then I can just kind of fit it, and you can see how it all fits together like a little puzzle. You know what I'm saying? So when you're drawing, okay, right on this. I gotcha. Okay, so this is kind of how I think about the body, so it's so much easier. Then we can use these same shapes for arms. So let's say you want to put your arms here. You just make sure, you just basically do this. That's all. And then you put your hand here. You know what I'm saying? Then you got this, right? And this will give you the skeleton of your body. You know what I'm saying? So that when you're trying to draw somebody, let's say I come back with my pen here and I want to draw somebody, I might be like, okay, I might do this. I'm just going to do something real quick. Okay, so let's say this is his little head. It's his body, right? This might be his little shirt, right? That maybe he got on. I don't know. Maybe he got a belt right here. I don't know. You know, he got his shirt, right? And then you got your pants, right? You see? And you got all of, let's say this is his forearm. Maybe he got a short sleeve shirt. I can now make a forearm here because I know where that goes. And then I'm looking for my thumb and my pointer on my fingers. So I know where that's at, right? So you can see how you can quickly draw a guy. Hey, Karen, how are you today? Okay, you can quickly draw people if you approach the body or approach your caricature this way. Okay, so we're going to let's see, we've been 9:35. Okay, so we're gonna go over this for about maybe 2 more minutes here. All right, we're gonna anybody have any questions about this? If you have any questions, let me know. Also, guys, if you wish to take a class with me, you can take classes. I do offer classes at rouserworld.com/classes, so you can go ahead and take a class there. Also, guys, tips are appreciated. If you wish to tip, you can go at Cash App, right? And you can just go to Rouser World, right? Rouser World, right? $ Rouser World. Okay, if you wish to tip, you can tip at $ Rouser World, guys, if you appreciate these art lessons today. All right, so let's jump back into it, guys. We are again covering shapes. We're covering how the shapes convert into features. Okay, so the cool thing about this also is that by drawing, we're going to take this and also show it to you as a head. Okay, so when I draw a head, I kind of use the same concept. I think of that, like say for instance, if you look at this head, I choose a basic geometric shape that feels like that picture to me. You get what I'm saying? So let me give you an example of that. That might be something like this here. So this shape to me looks like this. One, I don't worry about the 3/4 view. I just look at the shape itself. 2, 3. This is a basic shape of her head. Okay. The problem sometimes when you draw though, you'd be looking at too many drawing videos. You think that this is not, you can't do it this way, but you can. It's absolutely easier to do it this way. In fact, most things that you hear online, they're teaching you the long way to go about it. You know what I mean? Hey, what's going on, Matt? All right. So, what I'm going to do here, I think I got a lot of, hold on a second, guys. Give me a sec. I need to do a quick adjustment here. Now it looks like I got too much blue in my picture. Let me see. This brightness keeps going back up. And then I got the white balance here, and it needs to be over here. There we go. Apply. Okay. I'm telling you, technology, man. All right, so you guys should be able to see that picture pretty good. Let me just blow her up just a little bit. Okay, so if this is her head shape, right, then what I'm going to do is I'm shaving off. I'm just going to show you how I shave off the edges. And as I'm just going to go back and draw it for you. But what I'll do is once I find that shape, I'll say, well, I want to dedicate about this much space up here to her forehead. Okay, this is all going to be where her features are. And then her neck shape will go somewhere here. You see? So we can see her hand and we can see her pointer, right? And then we can see the fingers in between, right? All right, so now we put our ear shape, always goes right here. And then from here, I'm thinking of a circle, even though I can't get the whole circle in there right now because this page is too small. I'm thinking of a circle on top of this shape. You see? So it's this and that. So now watch when I come back and I start drawing the head shape. Okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm just going to go here and I'm going to start rounding things off. See how I round them off? Okay, you see how all of these shapes are just going to flow right together for me because I understand what it is I want to do, right? Up here, the hair is just, this is just a shape. So when I do the outside of it, I'm not making a straight line. I'm doing something like this on the outside of a circle. You get what I mean? And then this line right here, this is my center line, right? And so I can put my eyes here, right? I can get my eyes here, doing 2, right? 1, 2, right? Okay, I'm just gonna do something real simple. All of these shapes, my nose to me is really this shape here. Like this is what her nose is shaped like this to me, right? That's what the nose is shaped like. I'm just showing you what it's shaped like. And then what I do is I add shadows. So this way I don't have to use, I did this overly shapy for you just to show you, you don't have to use all of these features or make too much effort in your drawing, right? Okay. And then you got your mouth shape. Big smile. Okay, I always turn up the smile a little bit. Okay, and then over here we'll start putting our little lines to soften up. Remember, all I'm doing is disguising my shape here. So this really is the top of her head here, right where that thing is joining at, right where her hair joins is right where that's at. So all of this is going to be like where your curls will be at. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Hey, thank you so much, Rolando. How are you today? Thank you for coming out to the stream today. Appreciate you coming out. Okay. So, guys, that is part 1 of our stream. That is how to take shapes and transform them into features. Remember, you just simply shave the edges off, right? And you are disguising the fact that you want to draw a shape. Okay? All right. So, what are we going to spend the next 20 minutes on? We're going to be spending the next few minutes on suggesting shapes. Okay? So, being a good caricature artist is going to, number 1, require that you be able to, 1, find the shape that you want, but number 2, right, that you disguise the shape so that you don't get features that look like this. Because if you don't disguise your shapes, all of your drawings will look like jack-o'-lanterns. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have to learn the art of artistic deception, right? It's an irregular form of art, but you know what? It's a cool form of art. You know, so let's go ahead and demonstrate that to you really quick. I'll try to do it in a nice, neat way so that you walk away with an enormous understanding of what just happened. All right, so All right, so disguising shapes. What the heck does that mean? All right. Let's say I want to draw her eye, okay? Her eye, to me, is this shape here. These are the basic shapes. Okay? I look at the outer corner, the inner corner. It gives away this shape right here to me. The only way you can make this shape with any geometry shape basically is this one. Okay? But now let's just say I did this and I put some eyebrows and some eyes in there. Okay? And then I just did my eyelashes. I'm just going all the way out with it so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay? Okay. Hey guys, can you hold on? Well, never mind. I'll just go ahead and do it. My kids are screaming in the background, guys. I'm a full-time dad, so I got 2 little boys and a little girl. It's just a lot going on right now. So if you guys don't mind the kids screaming, I'll go ahead and continue. And tips are appreciated. Thank you. All right. So this is if I just drew it like kind of in a regular way. Okay. But when I'm drawing, I found my shape. Hold on, guys. Give me just a second. Hold on. I'll be right back. I got to take a quick intermission because I got to get these boys to calm it down. Hold on a second. All right, sorry about that, guys. I just needed to go in and pause. I had to go in dad mode real quick. All right, let me see here. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to disguise this shape. Okay. So when I draw it, what I might do is say even my eyebrow shapes, I might disguise them by drawing lines kind of that don't connect all the way. Okay. This is where pen control comes in. So now you see you have eyebrows that look more, but you understanding that you're drawing this, but in another way, okay? When I get to my eye shapes, right, what did I do here? Notice how I like to approach my eyes from the outside in because that makes it easier for me to draw, but some people might see that a little bit differently. Hold on a second. Okay. All right, let me see here. So I'm gonna do like this. And I'll approach the eye from outside in. So what am I doing? I'm drawing this part of the eye first, right? And this is what I do so that I can be accurate every time with my eyes. Once I land them, is then I'll go from once I draw the outside, then I concentrate on where my pupil is going to be at. Okay, like this. Okay. Then you can see I can put my eyelashes here, right? And then now what I can do is I got my nose shape, my bridge of my nose here. But now what I don't want my lines to compete. I want this pupil to be the focal point almost of the eye. So what I do is when I get past the eye, I'll just go out here. Maybe I'll suggest this. I didn't connect everything together. I just suggested the little peak in her eye. Get it? So things don't start competing with each other. So you have all these heavy lines in your drawing like this one. All right. And then you'll just come back and add your eyelashes. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So that is, again, 55. So you get 10. Then hold on one second, guys. 955. All right. Does that make sense? Okay, right on. Neat. Okay. So this is what you're doing, but you have to understand this, because this looks like it's, looks like it might look to somebody that don't understand this. It might look like, whoa, you're doing something miraculous, right? That's cool. But what it is me having the understanding that no matter what I'm doing, put the ball in the net, man. Even if you're just starting and you have to start with these shapes here, if you understand this and you can just disguise it a little bit, this will come after you've been comfortable with using shapes. But if you can begin to understand this just a little bit, your drawings are going to surpass anything that you've ever thought about you could exceed, because the power that is inside of a shape. Okay, so let's just go ahead and disguise some more shapes. So we're just going to go ahead and get some eye shapes here. I like to work with those real quick. So this is another eye shape here. Okay. And let's just flip our page over here. We could use the back of this. No, we'll just get a new sheet. We got plenty of paper. Okay. So let's look right at that eye shape again. So here, what I'm seeing is half moon. Watch. Half moon. Right? And then the shape that I'm seeing here, look at the bottom points of his eye. Okay. Now, what I'm seeing here is this shape here. This is what I call my button eye. Okay, the button eye is really easy to spot because it'll appear like the outside of the eye is sticking out like a whole bunch in the front. You get what I'm saying right here? So I kind of overlap the lines. So you can't draw this eye as a cartoon the same way you would in real life. I don't know if that even makes sense to you, but in real life, it's a whole different situation. But we're trying to get a cartoon translation of what we're looking at. So once I have this, then I have my shape here for this, right? So look how everything in my mind is a shape. Before it's anything else, is a very basic shape. Okay, it's Jackie Chan, right? Right? Okay, so now check this out. When I translate it, okay, or I do it into a suggestion of these shapes, this is what I'm going to do. Watch. Now watch my pen. Okay, now watch. Okay. You see? So you have basic shape, then you have translation. So how does that work when you're exaggerating? Well, it works the very same way. If I want to, now that I understand the shape that I'm drawing, I don't need to look at this person anymore when I'm drawing them. Because no matter which way their head turns, right? Okay, no matter which way their head turns, it doesn't matter to me. If it goes this way, I'm still going to draw these shapes here. You see? It doesn't matter. I don't even have to see him in that direction because I know where I'm at in relation to this shape right here at all times. This is the outside. Okay, this is the top. This is the middle part. This is the back. This is the top. This is the other part. This is the part sticking down from his eye. So now he looks like he's doing like a what, right? Even if I draw his eyes big and round. Now normally, so let's say I do like this. I might make it taller. Boom. And I might go like this. I might go, right? Let's say I want to give him some bigger eyes and I want to make him scared. I'm just redoing the same idea over and over again. You get what I'm saying? So that I can create different emotion in my character. But if you don't understand what you're drawing in the first place, how can you draw something? You will draw something cool. It just won't be the person that you're trying to draw, if that makes sense to you. Okay. So also, guys, here, look, in about 5 minutes here, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to be able to share your work with me. So if you want to share some of the artwork that you've been doing while we're on the live stream, you can go ahead and send that in. You can send it into Rouser World on Facebook. So if you go to our Facebook, you can follow us there. And then you can also go to our email, which is Rouser World as well. All you got to do is go to rouserworld@yahoo, and I'll just write that down here for you. So you're on Rouser World, so that shouldn't be the hard part. Okay? Just go to @Yahoo. Sorry, guys, I don't have all the bells and whistles that they have on the other streams, but I'm just an older guy that teaches art. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I try to be cool, and it doesn't work out that well. So, y'all forgive me. So, rouserworld.com. You can rouserworld@yahoo.com. Excuse me. All right. So, let's go ahead and do this once again here. We got time to do one more. We're going to go ahead and use these eyes. Let's see here. Which ones we want to? Yeah, she looks mean. Oh, here we go. We got it. Let me see. She got some real good ones. So she got it. All right. Now she has a classic round eye to me. Okay, and what that means when I say round eye, that means she has a lot of white space in her eye. Even so, these I would lock in on the white space. So when you have an eye that feels kind of bulby or big or round or frightened or anything like that, you're normally going to be working with some type of circle shape. Okay, so this is what her eye looks like. This is what the shapes are. Look, it's an oval shapes, right? Like this. This is what her eye looks like. I'm just going to draw it real simple for you. Okay, those are her eyes, right? So there are 2 circles and 2 little, I call them boots. I think of them as little boots. These are little legs right here, right? These are some hands, so you guys can have some perspective right, of what I'm drawing. So we got legs and boots, right, for the eyebrows. So check it out. All you're doing is this. Watch. I get quiet when I draw sometimes on mine. All right, so watch this. Now I'm going to drop down. I'm going to leave a lot of space. Okay, watch. Okay. So this and this are the same shape. This is just a prettier. That's just a prettier way of drawing the same shape. Now, if you want to just stay with the actual circles, you can do like this too. I just sometimes add a little bit of, because I used to be a portrait artist, so sometimes I'll add little details from that. But I could also just go with a round shape like this. Look. Look. You understand? I still get the same effect. You get what I'm saying? It's a little bit more glamorous, a lot more lines, right? This is a little bit more. Now, when I'm at work, this is where I'm going to shoot, especially if I'm drawing production drawings. I'm going to keep everything so close to the basic shape that it's going to be, and they're going to be like, oh my God, how did you know that? I said, well, you have people laugh at me when I tell them their head looks like a mailbox. They're like, your head looks like a mailbox, and they can't see. They go, oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Do you have any letters? Right? I was like, gosh, you must be my age, right? That was a dad joke straight up. All right. Anyway, let's see here. Let's go to the next point. We are done. We are done with that. Suggesting shapes, okay? Suggesting Saludos desde Mexico. ¿Cómo estás, Josué? Okay. Yo te recuerdas. ¿Cómo estás hoy? All right. Let's see. Yo espero que tú puedes tocar otra clase conmigo en pronto. All right. So let me see here. Let's go to the next section. We're gonna look here and see if anybody's sending any pictures in though. Was anybody bold enough to send some work in here? Nope. Nobody sent anything in yet. Okay. Wow. We don't have. Where's right. I was like, yeah. Okay, let me see here. So since we haven't had any submissions thus far, I'm going to go ahead and keep the momentum going, guys, because the next part is going to be something I know that you're going to enjoy. Okay, this is going to be. I'm going to go to my shapes. Okay. And what you want to do when you draw, especially when you're drawing people, but even when you're drawing bodies or whatever, or heads or fingers or whatever you're drawing, okay? I'm going to teach you this technique that I use called shape combining, okay? Now, what the heck does that mean? All right, well, let's get my pencil out here. Let me sharpen my pencil real quick. So you guys take a quick interlude. Bien claro. Gracias, Josué. That's right. Okay. So let me see. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to do combining. This is combining shapes. Heck does that mean? Well, let's just make it. Let's make it very simple for you, okay? And first, before we go into that, if you guys want to take classes, don't forget I do one-on-one classes. If you want to learn to draw a caricature, you can go to our website at rousetheworld.com/classes, where we will get you set up. We'll work with your schedule, so don't worry about if scheduling is going to be a problem. We will work with your schedule. I'll get up at dark 30 at night to teach you, but you got to pay for it. I'm messing with you. All right, let me see. So, rousetheworld.com/classes. Also, guys, tips are appreciated today, as this is my livelihood, and so you can tip at Rouser World or $ Rouser World. It's Cash App. Okay, so I'll put that there and put Cash App. All you guys can see that. You already know. If it's already on your heart to give, you'll find your way there, right? All right. So let me see here. Let's go to combining shapes. All right. So shape combining simply means exactly what that means. Circle plus triangle, right? Hold on a second here. One sec, guys. I see what's going on here. Give me a moment. I shall get this fixed right now. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Hold on, guys. Okay. Hold on, let me see. Oh, we should be all right. I'm just trying to turn this brightness down. Let me see here. Okay, there we go. Camera. Hold on one sec, guys. There we go. All right, and I think this is the camera I'm on right here. Is this it? Let me see if I can turn the brightness down. Yes, awesome. Okay. I was just trying to adjust that down. I'm just going to leave it open so I don't have to do that again. All right, so anyway, we have a circle, right, plus a triangle, right? So how the heck can we use a circle and a triangle? Okay, well, we combine them. Maybe for a head shape. Looks like a circle here. Triangle, right? Oh, look at that head shape. Look at there. Watch. You see? Look at that head shape. So that is, when I tell somebody their head looks like an ice cream cone, that's what I mean when I say that. If you consider the hair as well, because generally, and I'll do that in my next stream, a lot of times what we don't understand is when we draw, and I'm going to cover that here. So let's just say, let me just put a note here so I don't have to, and I'll put it up here. Just a little picture to remind me. Okay? Just a little picture. Okay? Things go. Where? Okay. All right. So anyway, combine these two shapes together and you come up with a head shape. Let's combine two other shapes. Let's say we combine the circle with a square. Okay. Well, that could work out two different ways. Watch. Square up top, circle in the bottom. Oh, look at that head shape. That's Uncle Bob then, man. Look at this right here, circle, right? And then look, you can use this line right here. We can put our eyes right there. Boop, boop, right? And then we got a little smile, right? Okay. Look, we could put some what kind of look, he got one of these. He got a baseball hat, right? Boop, right? He got little ears. Uncle Bob got little ears. Fuzzy eyebrows. You know what I'm saying? Little mustache too for Uncle Bob. Little beard. Okay, you see it? And we got this, right? It's coming down. Uncle Bob got a little shirt on. Looking at this guy over here, because he's wondering how come that guy doesn't have any eyes, right? So that's how you combine the shapes together, okay, to make the heads. So let's make some more heads together, okay, with shape combining. All right. So let me see here. Okay, so we're going to combine those shapes together. Just give me a sec here. All right, let's look at a parallelogram here. No, let's do a cylinder. Look, you can draw a 3D cylinder, right? And then we can combine that with we can combine that with a square. Look. So you have to practice with your dimensional shapes in order to be able to do this. But now you see this is inside of this shape. But what in the heck could I be possibly drawing? Let's give it some dimension. Right? When I'm drawing that, what in the heck could I possibly be drawing? Well, maybe this could be a head shape from the side. Maybe this is the side of the head. Maybe this is the front of the head. This is the neck, right, of your person. You know what I'm saying? So you can do all kinds of stuff. You know, you can do circles, whatever you want to do. All right. Let's see here. We got this pentagon shape. Let's see what we can combine with that real quick. Okay. And let me see here. I can combine that with a, I don't know. Let me see. Maybe I combine that with this. Okay, so my outer shape, what would my outer shape of that be? Would be like something like this. You see? So if you have a face that's very curvy like that, that's really what you're doing. And then you can add some hair, right? Let's say she got some big earrings in. And big puffy, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? She's looking that way. Dun, 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 dun. With long eyelashes. It look like that girl, Bro G, the girl, the Catch Me Outside girl. Does that look like her? Yeah. Oh. Okay. I must be hitting the desk by accident here. Oh, something's going on here. No, it's not. I'm not. That's not me. Hold on, guys. I don't know what's going on TikTok. It looks like everything's shaking. Hold on one sec, guys. No. I don't know why it's doing that. I wonder why that's happening. Hold on, let me do this real quick. Let me try it again. I'm just gonna retry the stream. Hold on. Hold on, guys. I'm just going live on TikTok again. Let's see what happens. Okay. All right, so what I did, I just had to go live again. I don't know, something was going on where it was glitching really bad, so I didn't know what was going on. Anywho, let's go ahead and continue, guys. We are going over shape combination, okay? Shape combination. That means the combining of shapes, okay? So we're using these basic ones here. Get really familiar with these. If you're beginning caricaturist, even if you're seasoned, I'm going to tell you, as a 52-year-old guy, if I'm talking to any youngsters, I'm going to give you some real game right now. Okay? The only way to go forward sometimes is to go backwards. Okay? A lot of the times it just be a fundamental that you miss that's making you have a problem. So you don't know what that, and I'm going to tell you, for most artists, it was their lack of observation. Observation. It's not, your brain can do it, your hand can do it. You just haven't had somebody show it to you where your brain can lock on to it, where it can get a visual image of what's going on. And this is really what my specialty is as a teacher. I design my caricature course based off of the student. So I find out about the student, and then I take the things that you understand, and then I take those and I teach you the theories of this. But observation, using these shapes, playing with them, combining them to make interesting things. Here I like to make me a little, I don't know, I got a little oval here. I don't know what this is. I might just go here and make this little shape here. Right? What can I do with that now? I just put a circle and I put a parallelogram together. That's all I did, a circle and a parallelogram. But look how that makes the back end of a head look so easy to draw. Yeah, I mean, now I got a perfectly drawn profile, for a person. You know what I mean? Because I've combined those shapes together to give me my brain and understanding of what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. Just try this at home. Trust me. You're gonna be mind blown what you can come up with. Cars, all that stuff. No matter what you draw, if you sit there and you look at it and you say, "Oh," you know what I mean? Like if you've seen one car or one truck, you've seen them all. You know what I'm saying? You've seen, shape. It's just basically shapes stacked on top of each other. Doors and, you know what I'm saying? And different shapes. Then you have circles. So everything is really, that's all designers do. They combine these shapes. Yeah. Okay. So here again, guys, we're going over combining shapes. We're going to be doing this for about another 5 minutes, guys. And then after that time, I'm going to go ahead and get ready for my word of the day. So in fact, let me go ahead and get my devotional book down here so we can be thinking about that. Now, the one thing that I told you I wanted to go over, what I had made a quick note right here, was where things go. And I think this is fitting because I think this is going to really help somebody. Somebody got this question right now. I have ESP, right? Okay, so remember, this is a live drawing, right? This is a portrait, okay? In a portrait, you have a head and you have a body and you got some hair, okay? Then over here, you have a caricature, okay? I'm just going to abbreviate it. So we got a head and and it's a little, so we got a little caricature, right? Okay? And then over here, we got everything drawn all perfectly, right? And we want some shadows, right? And we want to put some lips, right? And we want to put all the shading, right? We really want to get in there. But over here, you can see this is just a generalization of this, okay? So what happens in caricature, once you decide what shape you want over here for her head, let's just say that shape was, I don't know, this shape here, okay? All right, once you decide what that shape is, that best represents that shape is going to differ from the shape in this portrait, okay? It's going to remember, because it's an approximation, that means it's not going to be exact. Does that make sense? That's the reason why when you draw if you draw a portrait, artists have a hard time understanding this because they want to draw everything exactly like it is, okay? All right. So when you start drawing your picture over here, this is the reason I'm bringing this up, is let's say this is your head shape. When I place my hair on this shape, right, for instance, I have to think of the shape, I have to think of it like I'm putting it on this shape, not like I'm drawing it like it is in the portrait, because then you'll mess up. So here, let's say she has a hair going down. So what I might do is I'll come over here and I'll start drawing shapes of the hair around this shape. You get what I'm saying? I use shapes around the head. That's how I get my hair on point every time. I use shapes around the head, no matter what. Look, I got a round head, right? And I can draw look, if I draw this guy with a Darth Vader helmet, okay, that could also be a little girl's hairdo. You know what I'm saying? Right? You get what I'm saying? So I'm combining two shapes together to make one shape. Okay? So that is how you combine shapes together to make cartoons. Okay? So guys, we are going to really quick here. I'm going to change up the music just a bit. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin our word of the day. And okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off real quick. Generally, for the end of my stream, I like to do a word of the day. And that word of the day is just to let us be encouraged when we leave here today. In this place, I always pick my lesson to kind of go along with what we're talking about in the live stream. So if you have your Bibles handy, we'll go ahead and get those out. But I like to use devotionals and things of that nature because that's just the best way that I learn. Remember, learning is all about finding the fit for how you learn and not how everyone else chooses for you to act. Okay, so today. What I'm going to do is, give me a sec here. Let me find my page. All right. Wait a minute. So let's go over here. We're going to go over to the book of Matthew. Okay. Not Matthew, I mean Isaiah. Okay. All right, so here we go. This is one of my favorite verses in the Bible. I'm always referring back to it. And if you'll go over to the book of Isaiah for me, it's going to be chapter 55. We're going to take that and we're going to kind of show you how art and how God and how he is omnipresent. Omnipresent meaning, that if you can wrap your mind around this, imagine every cause and effect in the universe. Every cause, everything, two things, when you put it together, causes something. And somebody was so smart, so intelligent, that they created a system that doesn't overlook anything. Everything has been accounted for. Every single last thing has been accounted for. And so with art, okay, art is simply a reflection of how the scripture tells us to behave. Okay, so when we change when we have because remember it says, so a man thinketh, so is he. Right? That means, what pictures do you put in your mind? What thoughts do you think? What things do you speak to yourself? What do you believe about your world? And where did you get that information from? This is who you are. You will become the information that you put, the pictures that you put. I like to put the word pictures. I'm going to use a lot of word pictures because I want you to start paying attention more. If you pay attention more, and you're more grateful, you'll pay attention more because you'll be glad to be in every scenario that you're in. You'll see that God blessed me to be able to play with my kids earlier. You saw my kids running around screaming. I wasn't angry at them. I just couldn't hear what I was doing in front of the door, so I had to move to the side. But at the end of the day, guys, let's just be real. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to raise 2 sons. Okay? You get what I'm saying? I'm grateful for the opportunity. So now what I'm in that opportunity doing is I'm observing the shape of his feet, my son's feet. I observe the shape of his head. I observe the way he looks at me. All of my kids. I observe my wife. I observe what she's doing. I observe things. I go outside. I go to the gym. I talk to people. I observe other people, and I see when somebody's sad. I see when somebody's happy. I see when to shut the heck up because I'm going to say the wrong thing because I'm observing things more. This is what God wants us to do. We need to have the mind of an observer. We need to be less talkative and have the mind of an observer because you'll get so much further in life. Because now how do you draw from your head? Well, if drawing is observation, right? And drawing comes from the mind. Oh, let's put these together. Check it out. Remember how we combine those 2 things together? How you draw from the mind is directly connected to how much you observe. So if you don't know the answer to something, it's simply because you didn't observe the answer. Does that make sense? You saw the answer, but you didn't observe it. You heard the answer, but you didn't receive it. You didn't observe it. You didn't really give it any weight. You didn't give it any significance because you're caught up in your own world and what you believe and what you think and all this stuff like that, right? That's what this is. So what I want to do is I want to share this with you. I'm going to read it to you, and I want you to hear what I am saying to you, okay, what the Bible is saying. So, Father God, we just thank you for this opportunity to come together here as a family, Rouse the World, the family, right? I pray for each and every person here that they receive what you have for them, Father God, through your word, the sharing of your word, the sharing of the things that you put me through in life, the testimonies you've put me through in life. I want to share those with them. And my prayer, Father God, is that I'm not judged because of what I've been through and where I've been and what I've done. But I know I'm okay with you. I know that I'm good with you. I know that you've forgiven me. But don't let that be something that stands in the way of their receiving. I just pray for open minds today. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. I needed that for myself today because I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Okay. All right. So, invitation to the Lord's Supper. This is verse 55. Is anyone thirsty? Is anyone thirsty? Come and drink, even if you have no money. Listen, you want to come to draw? Come to my channel. You want to learn? You want to get your mind right? You want to get right? You want to be around a bunch of different people that all want to get their mind right? Come to my channel, right? Come here. This is what this is saying. We're relating it, but God's really saying come to him. I'm just using it to put it in terms so you'll understand what God is saying. We're relating things to art. Do you understand what we're doing? Okay? This is what we're doing. Come, take your choice of wine or milk. It's all free. You want to draw with a marker, you want to draw with a pencil, you want to draw with a crayon. It doesn't matter because the art doesn't come from this. The art comes from you. It doesn't matter what you draw with. You can draw a caricature with anything. You can draw a car with anything. You can draw anything. Some of the best paintings in the world, were done in crayons. Okay? So it says, why spend your money on food that does not give you strength? Why, if you want to draw, if your main objective is that, why would you not do things? Why would you do things that go in the opposite direction of that? Right? Why, if you want to be this, would you do something to go in the opposite direction of where you want to be? Why pay for food that does you no good? Why do you spend your resources and your money on things that can't elevate you or can't grow you? Things that's going to wind up in your garage. People think they need $500 markers to draw with. You just made a $500 mistake because the marker has nothing to do with it. That's just something that they sold you on TV. Listen to me, God says, and you will eat what is good. You will enjoy the finest foods. I told you today, familiarize yourself with shapes. Shapes are a representation of God. They represent structure, order, and the way things need to be done. Creativity is grown, cultivated, made bigger when you have a boundary. If I tell you to find your way out of a room that has 4 walls in it and I leave you in there with very limited resources, well then you'll begin to put resources together in your mind and you'll become creative. But if I come in that room and give you the key to the door, you'll never use your creativity. If I give you everything. Learn those shapes. It says, come to me with your ears wide open, listen, and you will find life. If you listen to what I've told you today about drawing those shapes and putting them together and working with basic shapes as much as you possibly can, don't even get complicated with it. When you learn how to draw shapes, just trust me, you'll start seeing these shapes everywhere that you go. You'll be like, holy smokes, that it looks like what I drew yesterday. It'll just start happening. It's a faith. You got to do this in faith. You got to trust me. Just trust me. Okay? That's what God is saying to us in the Bible. See, you want God to come and stand in your living room and in a form, but the thing is he's so awesome that he can't take on a form. God cannot take on a form. He's too awesome for that. He's above anything that we can think or imagine. This is what the scripture is telling us. This is what the shapes are. It's above and beyond anything we can imagine. It says, I will make an everlasting covenant with you. So now he's talking directly to us artists. Listen, I will give you the unfailing love I promised David. He promised that even though he was a man after God's own heart, David had a lot of problems going on in his life. But he still promised to be faithful to David. There was nowhere that David could go or nothing he could do that was going to separate him from the love of God, because God made that promise. So he's making that promise to us. Now, it says, see how I used him to display my power among the people. He's going to use you, what you learn, and he's going to use you to show others. Your blessing is going to come through the connection. This is why connections is so important. This is why we got to get together and gather and talk about positive things. See how I made him, a leader among nations. You also will command nations you do not know. A nation. I'm commanding a nation I did not know. I have a family to look after. I'm a father and a husband and an uncle. You know what I'm saying? I have co-workers, people where I go draw and stuff. I'm always sharing the word of God and ministers because I'm responsible. And they come because they know, hey, look, where I'm transparent. I'm no better than you. But hey, brother, if I can do something or say something to make your day better, I'm going to do that. If I can give you some light, I'm going to give that to you. He blessed me to allow me, because I was obedient to the shapes. He said, because you've mastered shapes, because you mastered the way I want things to go, I'm going to send you out. And these are the blessings that I want to put on your life. But you got to get past yourself. That's our worst enemy. Because I, the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, have made you glorious. He says, seek the Lord while you can find him. Call on him while he is near. Don't wait your whole life and throw your life away on the illusion that life is all about how much fun you can have. Remember, if everything is creativity, fun is even creativity. I want you to really think about what I said to you. Fun is creativity. Fun is when you can sit in a room with limited resources and still have fun. That's control. But if you got to go find fun, you ain't using no creativity. If you got to go sleep around, drugs, alcohol all day, don't take no creativity to do that. Any fool can do that. But it takes real creativity to enjoy yourself and just be you. That's creative. To learn to laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. I don't. Neither does my wife. But that's a whole other story. So again, seek the Lord while you can find him. Call on him while he is near. Let the wicked change their ways and banish every thought of doing wrong. Let them turn to the Lord that he may have mercy on them. Yes, turn to our God, for he will forgive you generously. Turn back to the basic shape. Turn back to it. Go backwards. Start going forward. Put your pencil down. Stop. Stop. Stop trying to do it on your own merit, your own strength. Accept wisdom. Go back. Play with these basic shapes. Learn how things are supposed to go. Then that becomes your fundamentals. And from there, it's only up, buddy. My thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, and this is where I'm going to finish. And I said this earlier. My thoughts are nothing like your thoughts. Human beings think completely opposite of God. They don't have any idea what God's capable of. They try to use math and science and social studies and the law of gravity, thermodynamics. They try to use all this stuff that doesn't even pertain to God. That's a toy to him. That's like me giving my kid this remote and say, here, play with that. Well, God looked at us as kids and he said, here's time. Oh, you want something to do here? Here's something to do with your time. Find something to do with this time I gave you. Right? Hey, look, find something to do with this time. Here's some gravity for you. Hope that keeps you down. Right? He has a sense of humor. This is what God did. You see what I'm saying? That's how much bigger he is than us. We sitting down here trying to figure out who we gonna marry. That has something to do with the cosmic shift of things. You have a way grander purpose. And when you start walking in that, you're gonna be free, bud. So my thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, says the Lord. My ways are far beyond anything you can imagine. And then here it says, for just as the heavens and earth, the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. That is our word of the day, guys. If I had to name that, I would say go back to the basics. Go back to where drawing all began. Wow. A gift God gave us. Here, you want to do something with your time? Here's some art. It's a little gift for you. Okay? So You guys have a blessed and awesome Tuesday. Again, if you want to take a class, rousetheworld.com/classes. Tips would be nice if you guys, it's on your heart to do so. Again, you'll find your way there. I've said it enough times in the stream. If you want to give, you can give. And they also have the super stickers in chat here. So thank you so much in advance for that. All right, guys. So you guys have a blessed and awesome day. I'm praying for each and every one of you. God bless you. God bless your families. And please come back again on Saturday. Also, if you guys haven't checked out my Patreon page, I'm going in a new way this season. The Lord has me putting some really special stuff up there on Patreon, just for those to gain support for our ministry that me and the wife have started. So if you guys want to be a part of that, please go over to Patreon, check it out, and if you can, sign up for a paid tier. The $5 a month does help. That's our smallest tier. And then we also have the larger tiers and basically different perks for each tier. So that'll give you a little something just for saying thank you on each tier. Okay, so you guys have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys next time.